Hey everyone, my name is Alexandra and I'm a watercolor artist. As we head into fall, one of my favorite things to see is all of the trees with all of the different colors as the leaves change color. So today I want to show you guys how to paint some basic watercolor fall trees, and we'll get to play around with just some different colors that you often see when you look outside. Let's get started. For today's painting, I'll be using 140 pound cold press watercolor paper. For paint, I'm using a combination of Art Philosophy & Co.'s Woodland palette, mostly using the colors Foxberry, Cavern, Bear, and Redwood, as well as a combination of Winsor and Newton paints. I'm using yellow, red, and orange. For this painting, I am using Opus Allegro paintbrushes number 2 and 4. If you guys have a small and medium paintbrush, those will work. A napkin for drying your paintbrush, and 2 cups of water. So the first thing that we're going to do is draw a line on our paper. This is just to know where the ground is going to be. So I'm just drawing a super light line. It's about 1/3 of the way up my paper. Have it really faint because I will be erasing it later. But what we're going to paint is a cluster of 3 different trees. So we're gonna start with the wet on dry technique. I'm rinsing off my paintbrush just so that I can get some nice clean water on it. And what I'm gonna do, I have my line here. I want my tree to start from a bit higher. So I'm painting a cluster, or not quite a cluster, but I'm painting a splotch of water. For this part, it's going to be a little harder to see in the video, so you guys may have to hold on to paint your water until you see the color on my paper. But I'm going to start by doing a red tree. So I'm going to go into my paint. I'm going to get red. This one's very bright, so I'm just going to tone it down a bit with my Foxberry from my Woodlands palette. And where I've painted the water, I'm just going to dot in my paint. And you'll notice that where I've painted my water, I've left some white spaces. I didn't paint my spot completely full. So I'm just dotting in the color. And now a lot of times when the trees do change colors, it's not all fully red right away. So I'm gonna actually go in and mix a little bit of green in there. I think fall trees are one of my favorite things to paint just because you can have so much fun with mixing the colors. So I'm just gonna go back into my Foxberry and just add some of that darker red into the painting. And now while we let that one dry, I'm rinsing my brush in my dirty water and then into my clean water. And I'm going to paint the second tree. So this one, we're doing the exact same thing. So I'm doing splotches of paint, not splotches of paint, splotches of water, kind of in this tree shape, but I'm leaving some gaps on my paper where I haven't put water yet. And this one, I'm thinking I'm gonna bring it out just a little bit wider. So for this tree, I want to go in with my yellow, and I'm just gonna mix it with some of this pink color here so I can get kind of an orangey color. An exact same thing that we did with the first one. We're just gonna mix the yellow into the water. Now I'm gonna continue with the same concept, but I'm gonna mix a bit of a burnt orange. So I'm mixing my yellow with my Foxberry red. And like I did with the green on my first tree, I'm just gonna blend it in. So now, while that dries, we're gonna do our third tree. And I had a bit of color left in there, so I'm just gonna rinse really well in my clean water. And I'm gonna continue doing the exact same thing. So I'm just painting splotches of water in a tree shape. And for this tree, I'm gonna do a bit more of a brown orange color. So I'm mixing both my cavern and my redwood paints. And again, we're following the exact same concept. So you'll see right away how the colors start to bleed and mix into the paper. Now the fun thing with these trees is you can kind of pick any shape that you want them to be. With this one, I'm going to overlap it just a little bit with the red. I'm just going to continue to add some spots. So for this one, I now want to add in some orange. So I'm going to take my yellow paint that I have here, and I'm just going to mix it with some pink red that I have, and just get a bit more of a brighter orange color. Right, so the next thing that we're going to do is take our small paintbrush and we're going to paint the tree trunks in. So I'm going to go into my brown paint. I'm going to mix some cavern with a bit of the bare brown. And starting from the base of the leaves of my tree, I'm just going to start with straight line down, and I'm just going to make it a little bit wider. I'm leaving some white space. I'm just doing downward strokes with my paint brush, and I'm going to have it come a little wider towards the bottom. So I'm going to do the exact same thing with my other two trees. And now across the base where I had drawn that pencil line, I'm just going to do some strokes with my paintbrush. So I'm actually using a little bit of the dry on dry technique here, just to imitate the ground a bit better. And I'm switching my colors. I have cavern mixed with a bit of bare, just to get the different colors and textures there. To show the ground now, continuing with my dry on dry technique, I'm just going to go over the trunks of the trees just to add a little bit more depth with them, and I'm taking my darker brown to do that. And now what I can do is with my paintbrush, I'm going to do some very, very skinny lines coming up into the tree, just because often you can kind of see branches coming throughout your tree. So again, I'm sort of using the dry on dry technique for this. I'm putting a lot of the branches into the white spaces that I see, and I'm just doing little lines with my brown paint. All right, and there you guys have our 3 basic watercolor fall trees. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. If you followed along and painted some trees with me, make sure to take a picture, send it to me on Instagram at Alexandra Victoria Studio. Also, please do comment below what you'd like to learn next. I love to teach what you guys are wanting to learn. And if you haven't already, make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.